Hello everybody. Hello Melissa and hello agencies. Welcome to our next webinar today. We're having the collaboration opportunity with Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy. They are one of the best Christian academies I can see in Ohio, and they are connected to a lot of churches, more than 100, which is a wonderful number with a beautiful mission and vision. And the person who is going to host with me today in our webinar is Mrs. Melissa Junio, and she is the Director of International Student Programs. And I'm sure that we will have a lot of interesting offers to show you.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Melissa Juneau. I am the Director of International Student Programs at Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy. We are located in Cincinnati, Ohio, USA. In the suburbs, a very safe environment place for our students. We pride ourselves on security. Our school doors are locked at all times. We have, security guards on campus, all those things to make our school very safe for our students and our families. Cincinnati, Ohio, a lot of people don't really know where that's located, but it's 4 hours from Chicago, a 4-hour car ride from Chicago and a 2-hour short flight to New York. So that kind of puts us on the map a little bit there. I'm just going to go down the list with some questions that was provided for me, and hopefully this will answer all of your questions about our school and our institution. Right now, we currently have 8 international students. Our students primarily come from China, but this year we have Kyrgyzstan, Brazil. We've hosted over 37 countries at our school. At the height of our program, we had around 44 students. But that was a little much because our school population is around 500 students total at the high school. So around 125 students per grade level. So we have decided to keep our program probably 15 students or under. And so we have 8 right now from Hungary as well. Hungary is also at our school. So we're always seeking more students from around the world. We want a very diverse program. We just don't want to focus on one country. Our program was established in 2007, and our school was established in 1989. So we've been around for a while. We're very known in the area. We have a significant wait list in all areas, in all grade levels. A lot of families after COVID decided they wanted their students to be in more private institutions versus public institutions. And so since COVID, we've had a big push from domestic families to get into private schools. We had one of the top private schools in the state, I would say in the country. A lot of students come here because they know they're going to get into a QS university. So top 20% of universities, all of our students go to these Ivy League universities. They get a lot of scholarships, which is very difficult for international students when you're going on to a university. A lot of times universities do not provide scholarships. So what's so unique about our school? We have 26 AP, so advanced placement courses. A lot of my students, I just have a list here, but a lot of them take AP physics, they take AP calculus, A, B, B, C. We also have something that's really unique at our school is organic chemistry. This is a course that is usually offered for pre-med students in college. Another unique program is we have a collaborative with Harvard University right now through our teaching kitchen. So we have a program where students can take 2 years of entrepreneurship or sustainability classes and receive a 2-year certificate that looks good when they're applying to colleges. Another unique feature of our school is our intercession courses. So this year we're featuring Greece, Rome, Italy, all the European places, New York. Our students will travel there in January for about 2 weeks. To explore, to complete service activities, just to really, step out of the US and see the world a little bit. So we pride ourselves in those activities as well. And those count as credits for our students to graduate. Let's see. Requirements for the program. So we have every student apply through our Veracross system. There's about 30 checklist items on there from, submitting your passport, your birth certificate, recommendations from teachers and teachers that are teachers or a principal or head of school. That's a requirement. It takes about, I would say, 2 weeks for most students to gather documents to get into our system. And once they have cleared the 30 item checklist, we get alerted and then we set up an interview. They are required to take a language exam. So we require TOEFL, IBT. Duolingo is a really great test for us as well because it's easy, accessible everywhere. And most of our students place at 70 percentile or above. So right now, my students at my school, they placed in the 90th percentile in reading, listening, writing, all those. Our students also usually are academically strong because we are a college prep or school to get you ready for university. And so if you can't speak English fluently or you struggle in math or science, you're really going to have a hard time at CHCA. Currently, our tuition is set at 60,000 USD per year. However, we do offer some scholarships and a little bit of grace depending on the students' background, academics, recommendations, things like that. I think that's just a broad overview of what we offer here. Again, I mean, we're a Christian institution. All of our teachers are Christian. They have Christian faith. We do not require our students to have Christian faith, but they are required to take every semester a Christian studies class and attend chapel once a week with the student body. Okay.
What other programs that you offer?
So we have the entrepreneurship sustainability program. We also have student-run businesses. Our students learn marketing, financial literacy. We have fine arts programs, orchestra, band, anything a typical American high school has. We have football, lacrosse, soccer. We just opened a new soccer complex that was over $10 million just opened a month ago for our students. Softball, baseball, you name it, we have it at our school. Swim team, our kids win medals. Our girls win a tennis competition. We have the #1 robotics team, STEM in the state. We excel in science and math. They compete in worlds every year.
My next question is like, what makes your academy stand out compared to other competitors?
Oh, yes. Well, it's definitely our students and the quality of students that our institution produces.
Yeah.
You're going to find well-rounded students who are involved in all kinds of arts, sports, service hours is really important at our school. You have to have 120 like giving back hours, direct or indirect, where you're working one-on-one, providing services for our community. That's huge when you're applying for colleges. A lot of our students, they create their own businesses by the time they're seniors. Like we have a marketing team that helps them promote and create businesses and learn those strategic strategic business ideas or plans. I'm not a business teacher, but they really do well when they're competing to get in colleges. And so that is the #1, I think, push, especially with a lot of our families that come out of China. They know that we have a great reputation. They know that their students going to have a good education, especially our domestic families in the community. This is why we have a significant wait list. We have a very good reputation in this area, and we do really well. Our teachers are very focused on our students and making sure that they understand the material. And when they go into advanced placement courses and taking these exams, most of our students get 5s. I mean, they earn 5s on the exam. They are very bright, very well prepared for the future.
Yeah. Wow. You must be so proud of them.
I am. I love it. I love what I do. I love my students. Another thing I forgot to mention was we're not a boarding school. We are an American immersion kind of program for our students. And so this means that we're a host family school. So a lot of the families that host our students, they are CHC alumni, or they have students in our school at the
Mhm.
time that, our international students are there. So we know the families very well. We're very well connected. They're highly recommended. So we don't have any issues at all when our students come. They get, they're here, they're getting 3 good meals a day, they're getting transportation to, to and from school, back and forth to activities, all those things. So yeah.
Wow, that's perfect. Thank you very much. So, yeah, continuing like the story about you welcoming the students, etc. I know that they come from many different countries, and you also mentioned China as well. So, how do you support like international students in culturally when they arrive?
That's a great question. So, we actually look on the calendar and see if there are any like holidays or events that's really important in your country, right? So, just speaking of China, like Chinese New Year. So, we always have a big push in our student body. We'll give out free snacks or free
Oh.
samples to this whole student body to represent that country for a day. So, we really try to incorporate whatever our students' interests are into our everyday school life, because that's the goal. Is we want them to make lifelong friends, and we want our other students to understand their cultures a little bit. But that's just one way that we try to get them involved. I mean, when they're in sports or academic teams, they're making friends, and we just try to facilitate that as much as possible.
Thank you very much for your answer. That's just wonderful to hear. Really, like, it's almost the same here. If we're going to the universities here, like the universities are also trying to help us with like, okay, we have Chinese New Year, etc. So we will give you like like small sweets or something like that, and we feel really appreciated when our school or university is providing such like care for us. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, one question from the same agency. So, how much scholarship amount is offered to students?
It really depends,
Mhm.
based on student need. I also have a significant donor that provides some full
Oh,
scholarships, some half. So usually you can expect probably around $10,000, depending
wow.
on what the need is. So if the student comes and they need a host family, it's 60,000 USD, because it covers the host family, all the I-20 paperwork, all that kind of stuff that we do on our side. And if they don't need a host family, if they're staying with a relative or a friend of the family or something like that, there's already a $10,000 USD discount there. And from that, it just really depends on student needs. So, for instance, this year I have 2 students that attend CHCA for free. And on top of that, we cover their activities, their social events, all those things as well. I have another student coming in next year that has a $25,000 discount. So it just really depends on the need and how qualified the student is for our institution. If it's a well-rounded student that everybody wants, that we're like, man, this kid's a rock star, he's going to
Mhm.
participate or she's going to participate in all these activities, then more than likely you're probably going to get some sort of scholarship.
Mhm. That's great to hear, and for sure, our agents will have a lot of questions regarding the scholarship because it's really something interesting for us to know about. And
Yes.
the next thing, hmm, because you are one Christian academy, so I'm also very curious about that because I've never been to one. So, how are Christian values integrated into the learning and daily life at your institution?
Yeah, so we live by faith,
Yeah.
so our teachers set a very good example in our classrooms for our students. We're very open to, if a student has a faith-based question, that we can talk about that openly. We are not a pushy institution, I will say that, when it comes to Christian values.
Yeah.
You're not probably going to hear, us praying in every class throughout the day, unless you have, if you're in Christian studies, possibly. But I mean, for our school as a whole, they'll have a prayer once a day through announcements for the entire student body, and then every Thursday for 20 to 30 minutes that all the students go to worship in chapel. And everybody worships in their own way. We don't have a structure that we all follow. We have 160 faith-based denominations, and so that kind of encompasses all of our Christian faiths.
Mhm. Thank you so much for answering. It really fueled up my curiosity because
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
normally we also have Christian academies because I'm from Vietnam. We also have it in Vietnam, and I always heard that those academies are very healing. Actually, you feel like my friends went there and they said like that's the best experience they could have ever had in their lives going to such academy like this. So I'm also very curious about this. So, mm, you talked about like a little bit about the teachers in the classroom. So, can you tell me a little bit more about like the student and teacher dynamics? How is
Sure.
like yeah, what's the classroom environment like? How's the dynamic
Sure.
like?
Sure. So, as I stated before, we have 500 students at the high school, so 125 per grade level. So, when you come into our classrooms, depending on which area of focus the kid or the course that the student has selected, you're going to probably find a 1 to 12 ratio. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
maybe 1 to 18, depending on if it's like a course that all the students need to take versus if you're taking an AP Chem class, right? The classes get smaller the more advanced they go. But
Yeah.
our ratio is very small, especially compared to our public education schools here. So the ratio here in Ohio is usually 1 to 26, 1 to 30. So we cut that
Mm-hmm.
number in half. And so you're getting direct time with your teacher. They're also available, before and after school through email. Our teachers do a really great job in facilitating learning for our students, and to making sure that they know the material and just being a good mentor and friend to our students. They're very compassionate. And I think, that's a quality that most places don't have. So we're very blessed.
Yeah, I believe so. Really, it's really important to have such like some teachers who you can trust, and students love to like be around them and learn a lot
Yes.
from them. So talking about this, what about like your support when you are when the students are graduating? So will you support them in like finding the college or finding the university, or like is there any activities in like after graduation for them?
Yes, that's a great question. Yes. So my team, my office, we support students all the way through the college process. And in fact, the director of counseling and college counseling, she works with our international students specifically. And so she's a consultant on the side, and they actually are coming rising seniors. So they're going to be in their senior year. They prepare all of this before the start of school. So by the time they're in school, they're ready to start pushing out their college applications. I mean, that's how prepared we are for them.
Wow.
In the
Mhm.
junior year, we start doing more college tours, and kind of seeking like their interest, any universities, they want to go see. So we try to arrange that as well for the students and the families. So I think to answer your question, they're going to get very specifically,
Mhm.
you know, they're specifically more help from our guidance department versus our office, but we make sure that they are like no one has ever been through CHCA and not been accepted into a college they kind of want to go to. So most of our students are very lucky in that aspect. Um, so yeah, we support them all the way through, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, thank you so much. It's really important for us to know about because you know that these age students are quite they need the guidance. So it's very
Yes.
very nice that you are offering such like specific guidance for them. They I'm sure that everyone will appreciate this. So when we come to like collaboration with agencies, do you have some do you offer like the training or like marketing materials or like onboarding support for new partner agencies?
Yes. So we provide materials that you can share with the families, for sure. Like if you go to events, and you're recruiting families for your agency,
Mm.
yes, we do provide that. And we also provide a commission fee. So our fee for so if you bring in a student that's going to be at CHCA for 4 years, we
Yeah.
off the top give 15% from the basic tuition rate, which is the tuition itself is it increased this year to our score. It was 22,575. So 15% of that, because everything else is basically taxes and fees for us in our program.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So 15% of that, and then the next year it'd be 10, 10, 5. So every
Mhm.
year we give a check to the agent to say thank you for this wonderful student. And it helps support the agency as well.
You have such great option for agencies to already starting with 15% in the first year.
Yes.
It's the very great one. So agencies, remember that we have very good commission here. It's something that you can remember when we meet Melissa in Warsaw.
Yes.
Okay, so next to that, I have just some last questions for you, and then I will finish my part. So. Actually, I have a question about like housing and where they stay. Do they have the opportunity to stay with the uh, same host families if you offer such thing for multiple years? I'm quite curious about like where they will stay or in if in case they are here alone.
Yeah, so it really depends. Some families, because our families are like volunteers, right? So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they keep the student all 4 years. Sometimes it's three, sometimes it's two, sometimes it's one. It just
Yeah.
depends on the family. But I can tell you the quality of the families are magnificent. Like
Mm.
the students are very happy with their families. We try to make sure that it's a good fit. You know, our families go through extensive background checks. We go and do house visits. We take pictures. We know them just usually through school because we see we see them all the time. A lot of them are faculty. Some of them are faculty. It just depends. I mean,
Mm. Yeah.
depending on the family and the student.
True.
We
Mm.
haven't had any conflicts with students and families, but if we did, then that would be definitely a concern, and then we would also relocate the student to a different family. So I think it depends on what the student wants and what the family wants.
What about the American culture? I just mentioned about that. Like, how do you have like the international students adjust to America, to the American culture, and the life in Ohio?
Yeah, that's a great question. So before our students even set foot on our campus, they are provided lots of reading materials.
Oh.
So, and then when they come to our campus, we also have an orientation. And so I have a couple of facilitators for that, just to kind of, our social norms and, what we do in public and what we don't do and what's appropriate at your host family's house. Like, you should help with chores or, all these things because a lot of our students, they come from a very privileged lifestyle, right? So they
Yeah.
have, drivers and nannies and cooks and all these things, right? So our host families are not like that. They are just typical American families. They cook their meals, they take their kids to school. So sometimes it's life changing coming into our culture. And so we pride ourselves in, just keeping our students informed. If any issue arises, just talking them through because they don't know. They don't know how to clean a sink unless you show them, right? Like, so it's like basic knowledge things that we have to walk through with our students. And we have such a great team that's just open and compassionate, just wonderful people that we just make them feel comfortable. It's a learning experience. Like, I couldn't imagine going to live in Poland. There's probably things that I do or that I'm doing right now in this conference that you guys probably wouldn't do. So it's just a totally different
True.
world. So yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, it's actually a new perspective for us that sometimes students are too rich
Yeah.
to, yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah, I never took this into consideration. So, how, so how does CHCA measure student success beyond academics? Because you have so
Mm.
many clubs, you have a lot of sports clubs and many things around that, like curriculum activities. And Could you tell us more about this?
So, how I would measure student success would be, are they a good person? We are developing good humans.
Yeah.
And so, if I can see a student, our students that are being kind to others, that are being, good leaders in the community, that are trying to, set a good example for others, I think that is for me, that's the status of success because, everyone's going to go off to college, you're all going to get careers, but like, we get these kids at 13, 14, and they're away from their parents. And so we play a big part in developing their brains and their minds. And so I think for me, it's just, when they're out and they have these careers, they reach out, they write letters and say, I'm so thankful for so and so teacher. They really inspired me. And we can, see their lives, and it's just beautiful. I don't know how else to say it, but I think for me to see my kids being kind to other kids or being, the respectable kid in the class or anything like that, to me, that's success because we're in a generation right now that I feel like kind of devalues, respect and, pushes boundaries, authority, and all the things. And our kids are just all the teachers love our students because they're just well-rounded individuals. So for me, that's success. But
Mm. Actually, it aligns with how proud you are about your students because you have already mentioned that they are really good individuals and
yes.
you're very proud of them. So it's the most important thing actually that when we see kid growing up, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah, last questions for you today, from
So
me.
it's no
So
problem.
yeah, I have had so many questions
No,
for
no,
you,
I
but I
love it. I
really
love the
enjoyed.
questions. Yeah,
Yes.
I love it. So go ahead.
Yeah. Uh, so, yeah. So, for agents who are here with us today, I think they would be interested in the next date of intakes. So, are there any upcoming intakes or deadlines that we should keep in mind from now?
Yeah, so our process for the 26-27 school year, our application process will open in September. And if you have students that want to be at CHCA for next August, so not this coming August, but the next school year, September is when you really need to start getting your materials in, your students applying, because by Thanksgiving, November, the last week of November, I pretty much know who will be attending CHCA the following August. So, very rarely do spots open up in the spring. Occasionally, I might get one spot, a random junior is not coming back, or something like that I'll know about, but it's very rare because of our wait list. So, the earlier the better, because as soon as they can get all of their materials in, then I can set up an interview with my assistant. And then if they get past my assistant, then they get an interview with me.
Yeah.
So we kind of go through that process. But I'm always happy to help. Through email is probably the best way to reach me. I stay glued usually to my technology. So if any agents would like, to reach out because they have a specific question or need, I'm always happy to get back to them.
Thank you so much, Melissa. And the final question for you today is, what is the final message would you like to share with agencies considering partnering with CHCA?
Oh, that's tough. That's a good one. So, we really believe in partnership, and open communication. I think that is key. In fact, I would rather have an over communicator than an under communicator. So, if you do work with our institution, just know that we respect your boundaries and your guidelines and how you work with families. And I believe that we can build a good future together. I'm looking for 2 or 3 solid agents from, every country. And if I'm primarily receiving students from you guys, then you would be my top agent for the country. And so that's kind of what I'm building right now is just a network and a partnership. And I want a long partnership, So I think that as long as we have that foundation, we can expect great things. So I'm looking forward to gaining new friendships and new insights and new partners and yeah, a very bright future.
Thank you very much, Melissa. So that's the end of my question set for you. I'm very happy and excited to see you collaborating with each other in the future, and also seeing you in real life in Warsaw as well. So agents, remember that Melissa is coming to Warsaw. So it's a great occasion for you to come and meet her as well. I believe some of you here have already registered to our event in Warsaw because I've seen some very familiar names. So really, really excited to see you in person, both Melissa and agents. Thank you so much for spending your time here with us, Melissa, to tell us about CHCA. And I hope a lot of agencies and students will come and find your institution in the future.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Melissa. So have a great day and see you very soon. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
See you. Goodbye.